Okay. Welcome everybody and good evening to another episode and another interview. This evening I've got my guest tonight is Emily Benham Kvåle. She's a mountain bike orienteer. Of course, many people know her. Very, very well accomplished. She's won 4 gold medals. She's the winner of the World Cup for 4 consecutive years in mountain bike orienteering. She's European champion. She's had the most ever World Cup victories of any athlete, male or female, in world mountain bike orienteering. She was the athlete of the year last year, 2019. So, Emily, welcome. Such a pleasure to have you here. How are you doing?
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Great. How are things for you now? You're living in Norway. Obviously, the lockdown conditions in Norway are slightly different to other places in the world. But just give us a sense of how you, as an athlete, are managing your lifestyle now that you have to be in lockdown, or however it is in Norway.
Yeah, it's I think as for everyone, it's been strange and somehow a bit different. But I'm mostly a full-time mum to Jenny, so I'm not working a great deal at the moment. So in that sense, I am still at home with her during the days, and we go out for a walk in the forest, or we go and play in the garden. And in that respect, not much has really changed in our day-to-day life. The only difference is we have been trying not to go down to the food shops or out and about in town. So we do leave those jobs. We have been leaving those jobs to Hans Jorgen, so he's been on food shopping duty.
Okay.
But other than that, for me personally, not much has changed. I live literally 100 meters from the forest, so I've still been able to just go out and ride my bike as and when I want to, and not too much has changed.
And being a full-time mum then and an athlete, obviously fitting in your training around the baby, has it been a difficult balance to find? You competed the whole of last year, you know, as a mother. So tell us a little bit about competing as a mother.
So it was strange at first. The first 5 weeks I actually didn't do any structured training whatsoever. I was just going out, dog walk, exercising, just to have that time to escape. And then after that, I began a little bit more with structured training. But I tried to listen to my body the whole time. And if I felt that I was just even a little bit fatigued or tired or just mentally not wanting to do the session, I was actually taking quite a lot of rest days, but not just sitting on the sofa. I was using the opportunity of a rest day then to actually recover so I could do the next session really well. So making sure I was eating and drinking properly. And Hans Jorgen was working full time as well. So he works 8 until 4, but then he's not usually home until 5.
Okay.
So I was sometimes going out super early in the morning. I think the earliest I was training was sometimes at like 5:30 in the morning. And then other times at night as well. And it's obviously dark here in the middle of winter. So I was doing last year, a lot of training at night. It was just how it was, you know. I couldn't really do it in the day, and I chose to prioritize sleep, my own personal sleep, when Jenny was having her nap time rather than sitting inside on a turbo trainer. So that was the balance that we found, and quite recently I've been able to, since December really, when Jenny turned 1, I've been able to have a much more normal training routine again.
Okay. But what is normal for you? Because of course, orienteering, or at least a lot of people when they go orienteering, they're orienteering with others and training in groups and this sort of thing. Obviously, during this time, we're not really able to do that. Do you always train on your own anyway, or how have you know, found that competitive edge within yourself to push yourself during training and then bring yourself into the best shape in races if you've not been able to train with others? For instance, when you're being a mother, I can imagine like you're not able to balance group training.
Over the years, ever since I was doing foot orienteering as a junior athlete, I've always done training on and off with groups. It's never really been I always have to train with a group or I always train alone. So I've been able to, over the years, be quite comfortable training by myself, but also happy in a group. But since moving to Norway, yes, there are cyclists in the area, but I've always been like fast than other women, but not always quite as fast as some of the men. So I've always found myself in on my own really. in that sense, it's always just been easy just to actually, you know, I'm just going to go out and do my own session and just train alone. And that's what works. I can then get my key sessions in, the things that I need to be doing, and that's what's important. But in terms of MTBO, I've been here 8 years and there hasn't been a single MTBO event in Norway. So the closest races that we have are maybe 6 hours away in Sweden. So that's 6 hours one direction just to get to the closest MTBO event, and that's just not possible to do every weekend. Maybe it's once or twice a year.
So how have you been doing your time otherwise then? You know, you've been racing. I see that you do like fat bike racing and of course like other mountain bike disciplines as well. So tell us a little bit about them. I mean, it looks super exciting. You recently did a 13-hour fat bike race. Tell us a little bit about how that goes.
Yeah, that was just epic. It was amazing. They had 3 distances, a 50, a 100 and a 150 kilometer, and it was up in Yilo, so in the mountains. And I'd been planning for quite a few months. I was thinking, you know, I'll do the 100k. You know, I don't normally ride that far. I pretty much mountain bike in the train all the time, so my distances are super low. Yesterday I did a ride that was just 40 kilometers in 6 hours. Okay. You could run faster. Wow. But it was just, yeah, that was physically tough. But anyway, the fat bike race, so I thought, right, I'll do the 100k. That will probably take me quite a while. Then the route maps were published, and I was looking and going, it looks too short. It looks too short. And of course, the scale was 1 to 100,000. I'm looking, okay, it's too short. It's too short. So like 2 days before, I upped the distance and did the full one, and it was the most amazing experience I've had. It was just phenomenal to be able to just go out there and to just find my own pace and relax and just enjoy the experience and the surroundings and focus on my food intake and drinking. And it was phenomenal. I was knackered when I finished, but I was smiling. So that was the only thing that mattered.
And like, give us a little bit of an idea of the conditions during that race, because of course you talked about the distance and how tough it is and how long it is, but also the conditions of the race. It's not perhaps as some people would imagine normal mountain bike racing.
It was so varied. So there had maybe been 1.5 meters of snow up in the mountains by the end of January, but it happened that the week before they had a period of slightly plus degrees. So all the lower elevations, anything that was a road and that had been ploughed, just turned to absolute sheet ice. You know, it was like riding on a mirror, and if you touched the brakes, even the tiniest amount, you were off. And I hate riding on ice, so I had to work for quite a few hours to overcome that fear and relax and try and enjoy it and just focus on staying upright and not crashing. So yeah, and then obviously you go up to the higher elevations and you're back on snow, and then you go even higher and the snow gets really soft where they haven't driven it much that winter, and so it was really varied the whole time.
Wow, well, that's incredible. I mean, you talked with such passion about, you know, being on your bike and competing in races, and obviously traveling to mountain bike orienteering races is a huge undertaking for you, just to get to one race. How and when was it that you decided you wanted to become a mountain bike athlete? Because I remember, you know, we grew up together, in fact. Many people might know that or might not know that. But anyway, we went on training camps together as kids, you know, going as teenagers to races and to many junior training camps together as foot orienters. And so then you decided actually you wanted to become a mountain bike orienter, and actually by the looks of it seems to be the best decision, or one of the best decisions of your life. So tell us a little bit about that.
It was over the winter before the Junior World Champs in Australia. Was it 2007? The lead up to that championships, I was desperate to go to those races, and I had really started to up my training, and I was really focused on that and doing quite a lot of running. And at some point over that winter, I just started to get tired of running, and I couldn't really find the motivation to do it anymore. And I think it must have been that spring that I just started going out doing some longer bike rides. I went exploring in the New Forest for 3 hours with my mountain bike, and you're not actually allowed to ride off-road there very much. But I didn't really know that as a 17-year-old, so I was just happily riding my bike around all weekend. And somehow through doing that, I realised actually this is I really enjoy riding my bike, and I just started to do it more and more. And then at some point I realized, oh, there's an MTBO event on a couple of hours away, and I disappeared off up to that for the day, and I had the best time, and I was so amazed that I was behind the current top GB athletes at the time, but I wasn't a million miles away, and it really motivated me to do more and more and more. And over the years it just sort of evolved from there, really. So there are a couple of years where I was trying to keep doing foot orienteering and trying to keep getting selected for the junior world champs, and I think it was in 2009 I went, do you know what, I can't keep dividing my time between the two, I have to choose one or the other. And MTBO was sort of where my heart was, really. That was what I'd fallen in love with.
Awesome. Great. I mean, yeah, and it just continued from there. And obviously with all the incredible achievements that I talked about at the top of the show, fantastic as well. And also some professional racing within Annandale and other teams during your career. So yeah, incredible. I mean, what do you see now into the future? You know, considering the fact that the World Men's Bike Orienteering Championship may be still happening this year, and other competitions into the coming years, what do you think about? What is the goal?
There isn't. It's hard to say, really. There's not a huge amount really left for me to keep on achieving an MTBO. Last summer I achieved the dream that I'd had ever since I started in 2007. That was to do a clean sweep of all the gold medals at one championships, and I did it at the time when I wasn't even thinking about it, and it hadn't even crossed my mind, and it was so unexpected. So, but I still feel that burning passion to keep doing the sport for a bit more. But with a family now, things are starting to change. It's expensive to keep doing it as a self-funded athlete, and it's hard to keep traveling away to all those races and justifying time away. So yeah, it's hard to say at the moment, but I'll stay in the sport for as long as I feel that I can keep on winning and being successful, I think.
Okay, great. I mean, obviously, you know, other things in life happen, and yeah, there's plenty to still achieve out with a sport, but yeah, it's fantastic that you talk with such passion about what orienteering has given you as an athlete. Could you just say, you know, in one word, what has orienteering given you as an athlete?
Freedom.
Freedom. Very nice. Well, of course, part of what this is about is World Orienteering Day, and we at Lockdown Orienteering have been tasked with putting on a few free events and a few free competitions for everyone to get involved in. Emily, you love competing. I would love to see you compete. We're gonna have now a little quiz for you, which I've made. So here's a little bit of fun. I'm just gonna share my screen. It's just a quiz. It's a photo quiz. You have to tell me the year, and you have to tell me the place. So
Okay.
the year and the place. You get 1.3. 5 photos at the end will give you a percentage. Okay, I'll share my screen. Here's the presentation.
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay, can you see this?
Yeah.
All right, so you're on a fat bike. Tell us a little bit about this. What's the year and what's going on here?
So this was a fat bike race. It was actually a race that Hanshaw and I organised. So we spend literally days creating that track with a snow scooter. There's so much digging involved every time it gets stuck and to flatten out the track. But anyway, this was the year I won.
Okay.
What year was that? We didn't have it organised this year. 2020, 2019, we didn't have it. It must have been 2018.
2018, okay, yes, that's a point for that. And which is the race? Just you can give the.
Oh, it's the race is a Ligner fat bike.
Very good, very good. Okay, perfect. Let's go on to the next one. Here's you with your tongue out.
That is the World Championships long distance in Portugal 2016.
2016 World Champs in Portugal. Very good. Wearing the flashy Cannondale kits, of course, that everyone remembers from that era. Fantastic. Okay. Here's one.
This photo, I was actually 3 weeks pregnant. So this was Gorick Spring Series race at, I think it goes by quite a few different names, but I think it was called Area 51 when I was there. So that was early 2018. So I didn't know I was pregnant at the time. And I was being beaten by a couple of girls who I really was sort of really surprised. And I thought, oh, wow, their winter training's been going so well. Why do I feel so horrific? And yeah, I was pregnant.
Well, yeah, wow, congratulations for that, of course. And yeah, 2018, you're correct. Okay, we're coming into, I think, the second last one here.
Yeah, mass start Danish World Championships 2019.
Yes, very good, very good. The last race of the week, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. You can tell it was the last race by the look on your face, but of course.
No, I was being chased down. So there are actually 4 girls that are like just in the darkness in the trees.
Yeah. No,
so, yeah.
It's incredible. There's actually some good video footage and YouTube footage that you can see. I encourage everyone watching to go and find that and have a look at that and relive that race. Wearing the winning pink socks there, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The final one.
No, that's an old one. That's Lithuania 2008 for the European Championships.
Very good, very good. Well, fantastic, Emily. We'll just flip back and I'll stop sharing that. Thank you very much for those. You got 100% in the quiz. That's incredible. Well,
thank you.
You really do know what you've been doing and what you've been up to. So fantastic. All the best for the future. All the best with the young family. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for taking your time to talk about orienteering with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been great. It's been great to catch up. It's been great to hear about everything that's going on. So thanks again. And yeah, like I say, wish you all the best. I hope everyone watching has enjoyed it. And yeah, we'll see you around at some point, hopefully on the top step of the podium again. Thanks, Emily. Cheers.
Bye.
Okay, bye.